As above, so below, so what? Written by Anisha Brahma, narrated by Anisha Brahma. Prologue: The Lovers. Claire Fernandez. If you have kissed as many frogs as I have in my lifetime, hoping one of them would turn into Prince Charming, you would understand why I had decided to take matters into my own hands. As the clock chimed midnight, signaling the start of a brand new year, I could hear Anand Bay erupt in celebration. Usually, I'm over at the Meridian Hotel with my best friend Ishan Rao ringing in the new year. But since I got tired of the same old, this year I was on the floor of my bedroom, red and pink tea light candles lit in front of me, deck of tarot cards in my hand, and a burning question on my mind. Alright, spirit guides, I muttered as I shuffled, focusing on the singular question that haunted my very existence. When am I going to find the love of my life? The cards flew out almost immediately. The lovers and the magician stared back at me. I blinked. I wasn't expecting this outcome for my reading. Are you serious? I whispered as I continued shuffling the rest of the cards. I am going to find the love of my life this month? I am finally done waiting? Alright, how do I meet him then? Another card flew out. The Hermit. It was as if the spirit guides were restless to tell me all the secret information that they had been hoarding for me. In Anand Bay? Where exactly? I asked, excited. A singular card jumped out of the deck as I shuffled. I scowled. Fine, I know I got too greedy, but at least I know it's not going to be another dull January. Half of the stack of cards flew onto the floor and scattered in every direction. I knew the deck was done with this reading. It had told me what it wanted to, and now it wanted to be put back to its resting place in peace. I sighed. You're right, I whispered. I should not make myself go insane by overanalyzing this reading. Thank you for helping me. I gathered the cards and put them carefully back in the box. As I moved to place it back on the makeshift altar in my room, I stole a glance out of my window. The sky was lit with pretty fireworks. Everyone was excited about the new year in a way people only are in Anand Bay. Even though I couldn't hear them, I knew everyone was busy celebrating at the beach. The shops along the beach either closed down early or stayed open late, depending on the services they sold. I remember when I had first moved here from Goa. It felt like I was trading one little coastal city for another. But Anand Bay has a way of catching you off guard and making you feel right at home. Something that was quite rare in bustling Indian cities. Anand Bay had a close-knit community of its own, and everyone had just accepted me when I first arrived. No one knew then I would become the new exhibit content editor at the Anand Bay Planetarium. And it was here that I learned that the universe spoke in a language of its own. It was the kind of city where belief existed on a spectrum. People trusted charts and cards the way others trusted instinct. Some inherited the language without ever choosing to speak it, and some pretended they didn't believe at all, even when the universe kept circling back. Here, astrology and tarot reading wasn't a rule book or a religion. It was a tool, a comfort, a conversation starter. And for the people who crossed paths at just the wrong or the right time, it had a habit of revealing things they had been avoiding. Sometimes on nights like these, it liked showing people a glimpse of exactly what they had been looking for. Chapter 1: The Hermit. Claire Fernandez. I cannot believe you would drag me out for coffee this early in the morning, Ishan groaned as he stretched out on the opposite side of me at the table on the patio of the Tidal Cup. It was a quaint little cafe right on the beach overlooking the beautiful Astra Beach. It isn't my fault you thought drinking until 3 am was a good way to bring in the new year, I said amused. You do know you're no longer in your 20s, right? You cannot put your body through hell and expect to feel as good as new the next morning. Boo-hoo, Ishan said, adjusting his sunglasses so that the faint January sunlight couldn't hurt his eyes. Can you ask them to add an extra shot of espresso to mine? Sure, I said, smiling at him. Which party did you end up going to anyway? Oh, here and there, he said nonchalantly. I think I still managed not to go to a couple of them. He placed a hand over his face, trying his best to ignore his hangover. I chose that moment to get my phone and check social media. Post after post, I saw Ishan tagged at different parties up and down Anand Bay. Didn't manage to go to a couple of them, eh? I asked. Hey, it's not my fault you decided to skip out on New Year's and left me dateless. I had to make do with what I had in hand, Ishan grumbled. And I couldn't take much of the stuffy party at my parents' hotel, you know. I would have survived it if you had come with me, but you didn't. I had something important that I had to do before this new year started, I said defensively. And I needed to do it alone. Ishan snorted. You know, we've been joined at the hip since you steamrolled into Anandbe 5 years ago. What could you possibly want to do alone? Come on, Ishan, I said quietly. I am sure you have some things that you would like to keep private from me. I don't keep secrets from you, Ishan said grumpily. Ishan! Leonardo de Costa, the owner barista of the Tidal Cup, appeared on the patio looking absolutely flustered. I thought you said you're good to do a trial shift on the 1st of January. Lena was perhaps in her mid-30s. None of us had ever mustered the courage to ask. Rumors say that she had crashed out in the middle of the day at her old corporate job, booked a train to Anand Bay to recuperate and never went back. Her light brown hair was fastened with a clip and she had extremely cute bangs. Usually she greeted people with warmth and there was a twinkle in her eyes. But right now she looked quite mad at Ishan. I raised an eyebrow at Ishan. And what were you saying about keeping secrets from me? He groaned and got to his feet. I didn't count on having a killer hangover, Lena. Blame Claire. She's the one who switched plans last minute and forced me to go party hopping. Well, you can make yourself a coffee with a double shot of espresso, Lena said bemused. And what would you like, Claire? A hot chocolate? Yes, how did you know that? I asked, delighted. From the look on your face, Lena said. I know when my girl wants to get her chai. Ishan left to make and get our drinks. Lena sat down on the chair recently vacated by my best friend. Are you alright, darling? You have that haunted look on your face. What haunted look? I asked curiously. The kind of look people get around here when they think they're close to an answer, Lena whispered conspiratorially. I recognize it well because I used to wear it too. There was a loud crash that came from inside the cafe, followed by Ishan frantically screaming, I'm alright, good news, my hangover is gone. What's the bad news? Lena called back. Ishan emerged from the cafe's door, holding our drinks on a tray, grinning from ear to ear. Why would there be a bad news? You know I grew up in a hotel, right? I learned how to work these coffee machines before I could even learn how to ride a bicycle. Lena smiled. Then it faltered for a split second. Are you sure your parents are okay with you working here? Why wouldn't they be? Ishan asked. It's an honest way to earn a living. I pay you less than your weekly allowance, Ishan, Lena said flatly. Really? I asked delighted. So how much are you making now? He set my drink down in front of me saying, that's a rude thing to ask your barista paying customer. So no friends and family discount? I teased. Ishan groaned. I really should have thought more about the pros and cons of this job. Once I was done having the hot chocolate, I did not know what to do next. Ishan, it seemed, was serious about giving his trial shift at the Tidal Cup a proper chance. I really did want to see what would happen when Mr. and Mrs. Rao took a walk along the beachside and spotted their only son, the heir to their hotel empire, waiting on the folks of Anand Bay. Part of me wanted to hang out and find out, but the other part knew that if I stayed put at the Tidal Cup, it would give Ishan cushion to not really understand the challenges of being a barista. He would just spend his shift hanging out with me. What time does your trial shift end? I asked as I prepared to go on a walk at the beach. I'll come pick you up. I've never been more proud of you. Really? Ishan challenged. What about the time when I managed to rescue the kitten stuck up at the tree at Sunrise Gardens? Well, that was impressive and cute, but it's nice to see you try jobs out like the rest of us, I said, smiling. Well, I couldn't imagine getting stuck behind an office desk crunching numbers all day. I know it's my inevitable future, he said, but I will delay it as long as I can, as creatively as I can. Great. And I should come pick you up at? I asked again. Oh, my shift ends in a couple of hours. Just share your live location with me. I'll come find you. I hope you're planning to spend at least today outside exploring Anand Bay and you're not cooped inside your house, Ishan said. You judge my cozy house way too much, I grumbled. Yeah, well, it makes you a bloody hermit, he volleyed back. I had a flash of the card that had flown out a few hours ago. The hermit, reversed. Ishan snapped his fingers in front of my face and said, You good? Yes, I am, I said. And don't worry, I'll probably text Roshni to come meet me at the promenade. Share your location, he repeated and disappeared back inside the cafe. But I had no intention of texting Roshni, my assistant, from work. Suddenly, I had a sneaking suspicion that the cards might not have told me what they wanted. What if they had told me what I wanted to hear? I could feel my heart sinking. I had spent so much time and effort learning how to read tarot cards by myself. What if I had completely misinterpreted the meaning? What if I just told myself what I needed to hear? I hurried down the road to the one place I knew would give me the answers that I was seeking. The same place from where most of the things on my altar had come. A place at the heart of Anand Bay, the 9th house. An astrology and tarot shop that was run by the daughters of Shenbari. Even if I was wrong in interpreting my cards, they would know what the right message was and tell me, wouldn't they?